To all who are in our listening audience this afternoon, we are certainly pleased to have you. You are tuned into the weekly airing of the You Have a Right radio program, which airs every Monday at 6:30. And I am your host and executive producer, Dr. Eula Letta Johnson Pickett. And as always, we set our programming to adhere to our goals of information, education, inspiration, and motivation. And this evening, we're certainly going to share some wonderful information with you regarding entrepreneurship, marketing, and some wonderful other pieces. So, get your pencil, paper, computer, tablet, whatever, and those young people who are in your homes, have them to listen, and in your cars, have them to listen, because we're certainly going to share out some information that will be useful. If you can't use it today, you certainly can use it tomorrow. And if we look at the state of affairs of these United States, you need every tool that you can possibly garner in this world today. Nothing is for sure, and certainly as we look at employment in our community, the old saying, if America coughs, the black people get pneumonia, is certainly true. So no matter the age or the stage, you need to share out and listen to this information this evening. Our special guest is a young lady by the name of Danielle Mitchell. She's an entrepreneur at several different levels, and she's going to share out with you how she got started, how she maintains, and how she focuses daily to keep herself on track and to be productive. And some of you fit the mold that she is in, and I will ask her to share out with you who she is, and we'll share out what she does. Good evening, Miss Mitchell.
Good evening.
How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's a pleasure having you. Can you share out with our audience, our listening audience, what it is, who Danielle is, and then what it is that Danielle does? Okay.
Yes. So I am from the south suburbs of Chicago. I went to the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, where I studied marketing and management in the College of Business. After I graduated, I worked with companies such as L'Oreal and Coca-Cola, and now I'm experiencing and exploring entrepreneurship. So I have 2 businesses under my belt: Melanin Business, which is a global black directory, and under that is Average Black Girl, which is my consulting firm where I do marketing and website development. And then I have a group of women that I went to school with. We created the Power Suit, which is a collective for women trying to either become entrepreneurs or excel in the workplace. And then with another group, I have a business called the Black Male Entrepreneurship Network, where we have any type of resource for black men. Monthly meetups, cohorts, business boot camps, anything that you can imagine, we have that for the black men at Black Male Entrepreneurship Network.
Well, would you repeat that and slow down a bit so that our listeners can take notes? Now, the first one you said is the one that has the black directory?
Yes.
Okay, share out the name and what that's about.
So, melaninbusiness.com. Melanin is spelled Melanin. I picked the name melanin because that means the scientific term for pigment. So I didn't want to use black because in America that is sometimes only for African Americans, and I wanted it to be for everyone. If you are Haitian, Brazilian, Ethiopian, it doesn't matter, you have melanin.
Or European.
Yeah.
They sometimes have pigment.
Well, if they're black, if they have African descent,
Right.
I wanted to be an encompassing thing.
Okay.
And I travel, so when I go to different countries, I still want to buy black, even if I'm in another country. And this buy black movement is becoming global. So I decided to do that. So it's my free to sign up, free to add a business, free to give a review. It's a passion project. It makes it easy for people. If you're looking to buy black, here you go. And the idea for me of buying black is you want it to be something that is continual. You want to have a substitute for what you're doing. So if you have a business and it's a bad experience, you're never going to go back. So it's not helping anybody. So this is helping. You want to have a great experience when you buy black, and you want to have something that is a right fit for you.
Okay, now how can they get the black directory?
Melaninbusiness.com. It's up now. We're actually in 4 different countries. We're in America, of course, and we have all the Black-owned bank branch locations. We have subjects from everything from the different apps that are Black-owned to your different nail salons, hair salons, beauty supply stores, so on and so forth. Even marketing, directors, accountants, doctors, you name it.
Now, can you get hard copies, or is this just by way of internet?
Yes, it's just right now a website.
Okay.
But it's mobile friendly, so if you're on your iPad, your iPhone, wherever you're at, it doesn't matter. You can receive.
Now spell that name again.
Melaninbusiness.com. MELANIN business.com.
Wonderful idea. Now, number 2, what is the other business that you are involved in?
Yes, so underneath that is Average Black Girl. And so that is where I am just taking the experiences that I've learned with corporate America and I'm giving it to the startups. People have ideas and they are great ideas, but a lot of times they don't work because there's no strategy. So I'm sitting people down and making it to the basics. Let's get you a website. Are you on Google Maps? Do you have a Yelp account? Are people able to find you? Once you're starting to build, do you have monthly goals? And then let's break them down per week so that if something's not working in week 2, you have time to change it. A lot of times we are just wanting to do all things to all people. We want to post every day on Facebook. We want to be engaged on Instagram. We want to find new leads. And we'll have 1 or 2 really great days where we post 8 times a day, and then we won't be there anymore for the rest of the week. There's no strategy. People don't know what's going on, and they still don't know who you are. If you just take your time and say, Monday, I'm going to talk about new business. Wednesday, I'm going to have a promotion. Friday, I'm going to feature another business that's in my likelihood so that we can cross-promote. Now you're kind of calm, but everything is intentional and you're able to sell. So that's what I do.
Okay, that sounds like a wonderful business effort. And how can people reach you regarding that kind of business? Or if they have needs regarding that list that you just shared,
Yes.
How do they reach Danielle Mitchell?
So that is averageblackgirl.org, and you can go on Facebook, it's Average Black Girl, Instagram, Average Black Girl, on Twitter, it's ABG Black Girl, and you will have a plethora of resources and information, everything from a social media checklist so you can know all the latest tips and apps and tools to do. You can know if you're trying to build your brand on Twitter, which Twitter parties you should join so that you can gain influence that way. And everything from MailChimp to newsletters, we got you covered. And I also have a YouTube channel called Average Black Girl where I give a lot of free tips and I record a lot of my speaking engagements so that you can learn that way as well.
So they can engage you as a speaker for their organization.
Absolutely.
Oh, how wonderful is that? So they can use the same number or contact information to engage you as a speaker.
Yes, if they want to email me, it's admin@melaninbusiness.com. My phone number is 708-280-3332, and I'm available if they DM me on any of the social networks, Average Black Girl.
Okay, we will give the contact information again before we depart. Now, let's talk about what do you say for people who want to start businesses.
So I have a slogan where I'm always like, everybody is not made to be have a main hustle as your full-time entrepreneur, but everybody needs to have a side hustle. And I think that that's the generation that I'm in. I'm a millennial. We're getting into. We come from the level where my grandfather was in the army and it was segregated. So when I got to college, I was his dream fulfilled. He wanted me to go to school, get a good job with good benefits. And I was able to get a really great job starting out. But now, when we get there, we see that there's still politics, there's still glass doors. It's not all rainbows like
and glass ceilings.
Yes, glass ceilings is what I meant. And so now we're like, okay, we want to get back to that generational wealth that was before Black Wall Street. Like, we're interested in that part too. And so that's what you're seeing. You're seeing us really striving in corporate and also really trying to strive in this entrepreneurship.
And so you are not in that group that went to college to get a job. You're making a job and being an entrepreneur, and you're doing more than one effort.
Yes.
So that's wonderful. Now, what made you start these businesses?
So for me, I was working with Coca-Cola in Orlando, and that was the same time that Trayvon Martin happened. And so that really changed my life. That was one of the life-changing moments that I personally had. And it was so many similarities. I lived in a gated community, he did. I had just graduated from the University of Illinois, so I always wore my sweater and my hoodies and stuff like that. So I decided, I was just moved down there. I wasn't doing anything to the community. I was living my best life, going on beaches and traveling down to Miami. And I was like, you know what, there's something that you need to do. It's your right to give back. So at first I was on change.org signing different petitions, but I didn't really like the results. So then I decided, you know what, you have a degree, you have all this experience, what can you do? And so that is where I started to build my brand Average Black Girl. And I started with resumes because we had a really great referral program. So I was able to learn how to do resumes really well, and I was able to get a lot of my friends a job within various organizations. So when I started Average Black Girl, that was one of the main pillars. We have a professional development section, and we have an entrepreneurial section. Now, fast forward, I'm in Atlanta, and I like my job, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. So I'm like, well, what can we do to pass the time?
Who were you working for?
Still with Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I am trying to figure out what can I do to pass my time. Because with Coke, you have like 18 months until you can do something else, but a lot of times it can be shorter than that. There's always an exemption to every rule. So I'm like, well, what am I going to do in between time? So that's when I started to be on YouTube with Average Black Girl, and I started to find different businesses that I can buy black with. I'm in the Black Mecca, there's so many different businesses, and when I would travel to the outskirts for my territory, I couldn't find them as readily, and it was frustrating. So I went on YouTube and I was like, I'm frustrated that I can't find these black businesses, but I know that they're out there. Are you frustrated too? And it started with me doing a bottle of Sachin Carson. And people are like, you think it's black owned, they focus to black people, but in reality it was black
now,
owned,
what's
but
the
it's
name
bought.
Of this product?
Sachin Carson.
Oh, gosh.
The hair company. Yeah,
Okay.
so you think that it's black owned, but it's not. It was bought by L'Oreal many moons ago.
Yes, indeed.
And we don't know that. We don't look at the back and look at the parent company. So
That's true.
It's all about, you think you're buying black, but a lot of times you're still not buying black.
Right.
So I started on YouTube, and once I got to 400 subscribers, then I was like, okay, you guys are rolling with me. Now let me get a website. So everything's been strategic. There's been stepping stones. Once I hit a goal, then I move on to the next.
Well, if someone's out there that has a yearning and a burning to start their own business, but they are gainfully employed,
Yes.
What do you suggest as far as them quitting their job?
I say that you stay with your company as long as possible. You'll hear a lot of these you'll hear a lot of these companies, and they'll talk about how they had to live on different couches and it was so stressful, and you don't have to do that. My dad always says life is hard, but it doesn't have to be that hard, and those things are problems that you bring onto yourself. I was able to have Average Black Girl grow organically because I had a job, and I had a really nice job that offered the flexibility for me to work at night and kind of leave work at work. So that is a blessing in itself. And so you want your main business to support and fund your side business. That makes it easy. That makes it fun. So I would say stay as long as possible.
And save your money. Always have an emergency backup.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you don't have to sleep on couches and shelters and all of that and have such a hard poor me story. Okay, now a business plan is always in order. So when do you suggest that one develop a business plan, and what resources are available to help those who need help?
So I think that you should hold off on business plans and all those formalities, especially if what you're doing is not a brick and mortar.
Okay.
Because a lot of times you can't really forecast on nothing. You don't know how it's going to be in the first 6 months. You're still trying to figure it out. My idea of what I thought my business was going to be is completely different than what it is now. And that's because I ask my clients, I do surveys, I ask my followers, is this what you want? Instead of me writing what I think they want, I know exactly what they want because I asked them. And so I say to take time, especially if you're working a full-time job.
Okay, I have a question.
Mhm.
Now, if you are wanting to travel this entrepreneur trail,
Mhm.
and at some point you have got to put something on paper. Now, help me there. Take me from, if I'm not going to do a business plan,
Right.
give me something that I can put on paper to keep me focused,
Right.
to know that I'm in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, etc.
So what I suggest is starting with an executive summary. It's a one-pager instead of it being 9 to 10 pages like a lot of people think a business plan should be. There's also, you can Google, there's also little formats that do one-page business plans. That's all you need. One
Okay,
page to
if
start
you're
out.
going to Google it, what would I Google?
One-page business plan. And there's so many. There's
Okay.
Microsoft has one, Google has one.
So you wouldn't use the term executive summary?
No, executive summary
Okay.
is literally what it is. It's executive summary. That's what most people need if you're going to be pitching to a incubator program or
Okay.
a business pitch competition. That's all you
Okay.
need.
But you can help people with that kind
Yes,
of development.
absolutely, absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful, because I know I have always understood that an idea does not become a goal until it's written down.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of people who talk the talk and don't walk the walk because they have never sat down and really dissected what it is they want to do, where their strengths are and where their weaknesses are. And some people put efforts in the weak part and be losers from the start.
Right.
And so you do have to look at what it is you want to do and do the who, what, when, where, how, and how often
Exactly.
pieces
Exactly.
to dissect what's going on. Now, if you're on a gap year, what is that and what did you do during that time? What's a gap year?
So my gap year started after 9 months of working on my business and working full-time for corporate America. I was going to work at 7 a.m. I was coming back at 3 p.m. and then I was working on my business from 3:30 until I fell asleep. So I did that for about 9 months, and then I was like, I'm overwhelmed and I don't have any kids, and this is just unnecessary pressures for me. So I decided to take a gap year to really focus on my business and travel. I, at that point, had gotten a few contracts, so I was making some significant amount of money to pay my bills, and I decided now's the time, let's just try it. So during that time, I was able to come back to Chicago. I did decide to move back in with my parents for that 1 year and travel. So I went to Mexico, I went to Hawaii, and then I went to Lagos, Nigeria, and I stayed there for a month. And I worked for Trace Niger, which is the MTV of Nigeria, and did digital marketing there and really explored the country.
Wonderful, and everybody hasn't done it but dreamed of it. That's a great, great experience. Wow. So why didn't you stay in Africa?
My visa.
Well, you do like they do, get married and stay. Now, what about the website? Why should someone get a